Imagine your sister is in labor, screaming in pain, and the very people who are supposed to help her ignore her. They give her attitude, curse at her, and she almost loses her baby. You'd be furious, right? Well, that's exactly what happened according to a viral Facebook post by Cassie Kumur, who blasted the nurses and midwives at Port Moresby General Hospital. Her post sparked heated debates. Was she right to call them out, or was this just frustration talking? Today, we're taking a neutral, fact-based approach to analyze every point in her complaint. We're looking at reasoning, medical facts, and the realities of midwifery to separate emotion from truth. Let's break it down, point by point. Point 1. The choice to be a midwife. Cassie starts by saying, "No one forced you to be a midwife. You chose this job, so do it properly." And she's right. Nobody is forced into midwifery. It's a career choice, and it comes with huge responsibilities. Midwives must provide care, even in difficult situations. But on the flip side, perfection is a myth. Midwives are human, and just like in any profession, there are good and bad days. Expecting 100% perfect care at all times is unrealistic, though it doesn't excuse negligence. Point 2. The swearing, kai kai kan. Now, this is where things take a harsh turn. Cassie uses the phrase kai kai kan, which is a serious insult in Tok Pisin aimed directly at midwives. This was completely uncalled for. Frustration does not justify swearing, especially in a public space. It's an insult to all midwives, not just the one us she had issues with. Plus, think about this. These same midwives helped deliver her sister's baby. Instead of gratitude, they got public humiliation. Is that fair? Let's be honest. Not all midwives are bad, and throwing insults doesn't solve anything. Point 3. Shaming the midwives. Cassie said, "Shame on some of these 3 mile nurses, midwives." At least here she acknowledges that not all midwives are bad. However, we need to ask, is this about one bad midwife, or is she generalizing? If it's just one bad midwife, why attack the whole profession? It's important to hold individuals accountable, not destroy the reputation of hard-working healthcare workers. Point 4. Ignoring laboring mothers. Fact or assumption? Cassie claims that midwives ignored her sister during labor. But is this true? Here's how midwifery actually works. Check mark. When a mother arrives, the midwife assesses her stage of labor. Not all women are at the same risk level. Some are prioritized over others. A midwife doesn't sit around doing nothing. She follows a schedule for checking and monitoring progress. So, did they ignore her sister? Unlikely. It's more likely that they were monitoring other patients who needed urgent attention. The reality is, labor wards are busy, and midwives must prioritize high-risk cases first. Point 5 and 6. Attitude and cursing. Cassie also claims that midwives were rude and cursed at her sister while she was in pain. If true, this is completely unacceptable. Medical professionals should be compassionate and professional. But let's be fair. This could be one bad midwife, not all of them. And let's be real. People exaggerate when they're emotional. So, was this a serious issue or a frustrated sister misinterpreting a tough but necessary approach? We'll explore that later. Point 7. One rotten apple ruins the whole bunch. Cassie makes a valid point here. 1 or 2 bad midwives can ruin the reputation of the whole profession. This is why hospitals must maintain professionalism and address complaints properly. However, blasting the whole profession online isn't the best way to fix the problem. Point 8. She almost lost her baby. Medical reality check. Cassie says her sister almost lost her baby. But medically speaking, is this true? Labor is a process. It doesn't suddenly become life-threatening unless there are specific warning signs. If her sister's baby was actually in danger, midwives would have intervened. If the baby was delivered safely, then this was more of an emotional reaction than a real emergency. Misinformation like this creates fear and distrust in hospitals. Point 9. Ignoring contractions, understanding labor pain. Cassie claims the midwife ignored contractions while playing a pop star. Now, let's explain contractions in simple terms. Contractions are painful, but they are necessary for the baby to be delivered. Midwives don't stop contractions. They monitor them to ensure labor is progressing. If a midwife is not rushing to help, it's probably because the labor is still in the normal phase. Cassie's statement shows a misunderstanding of how labor works. Midwives wait for the right moment to intervene, just like a pilot monitors a plane in the air before landing. Point 10. Threatening violence. Cassie ends her post by saying, "If I was there, I would have beaten up the midwife." This is unacceptable. Violence doesn't solve problems. If there was real negligence, the right thing to do is file a complaint with hospital management. Anger is understandable, but threatening people isn't the solution. So, after breaking down each point, what's the verdict? Cassie had a right to be frustrated. Labor is stressful, and she wanted the best for her sister. However, some of her statements were exaggerated, emotional, and even unfair. Midwives have a tough job, and not all are bad. But hospitals should ensure professionalism at all times. Instead of attacking midwives online, the real solution is to demand better training, better staffing, and a better healthcare system. Let's have the real conversation. How do we fix these issues without disrespecting the people who help bring life into this world? What do you think? Was Cassie right, or did she go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe for more deep, fact-based discussions like this.